You're live. Welcome to Worldwide Slot Car Chat on Zoom number 241. I'm your host, Greg Gal. The gang's all here with Tony and Luff and Don and Snowgy and Mike and John and Jeremy and Garth and Dewan and David and Wayne and other people. What was that?
It's supposed to be Snowjet. For some reason, it cuts the T off.
Oh, I can fix that here. There we go. Rename Snow. Do you want the W?
No, it's no W.
Okay, so S-N-O-J-E-T?
Yes.
There you go. Now you're Snowjet. All right, Snowjet, is this your first time on the live chat?
I was on about a month and a half ago for about a half hour.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. Moving on, who's got some show and tell they want to show and or tell? Raise your virtual hand so I don't forget to call on you. Wave your real hand since nobody's put up their virtual hand yet, and we'll do some show and tell. Not seeing anybody waving their real hand or doing. You want to do something, Snowjet?
Sure.
All right.
I don't know if you know it, but I started a Proxy on Home Racing World. It's the Shelby Tribute Proxy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going to show you one of my cars that I'm building for it. There it is. I took the 59. The idea behind the Proxy is taking a stock car, modify it all you want, but it must retain the stock body and the stock chassis. You can add metal to it, do whatever you want. It has to fit in the specs of the class, width, body clearance, and things like that. So that's just the other thing. This is I built it so it has real good float.
And it's all just Shelby cars, right? So it's Cobras and Cobra Daytonas.
Cobra Coupe, and Daytona Coupe. Those three cast bodies.
Okay.
I don't care what brand it is.
Well, other than body float, what have you done to your car?
This one here, well, the rule stated 14K or an 18K slim can. You see in this one here, it's still pictured. I modified it for a slim can. Put a carbon fiber axle in the front. It retains stock front wheels. The rear wheels are sliding plus lightweight plastic wheels. I try to keep them as light as I can. It's got ball bearings on the rear. Just
Nice.
make it as light as I can.
Sounds good. When does the Proxy racing begin?
Oh, it won't begin until April 15. It's sign up right now. So.
And people should head on over to Home Racing World and look in the Proxy section for that?
Yeah, it's listed in there.
Perfect.
It's a good-looking track in the background there.
Show you a better picture of it.
Yeah, let's take a look.
It's really nice there.
3-lane
Oh,
routed.
yeah.
It's a 42-foot 3-lane.
Yeah, nice.
What's the footprint?
Wait a minute. Why have we never raced on that?
It's in my basement at home.
We're in okay. I'm just
Apparently, he don't want nobody in his basement.
Yeah, that makes sense. He's seen us before. All right.
He didn't want you guys in his basement. That's what it is.
Completely.
Yeah.
No, that ain't it. It'd be kind of crowded for a group of guys down here.
You should see my garage. There's going to be upward of 14 people in here, and I have a hard time walking around, and they don't care. They don't care. So that's not it. So you're going to have to find another excuse, man.
Well, I don't have a timing system yet for it.
That's a pretty good one. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure Jeremy knows how to work on those. So I don't know. Maybe he can help. Throwing him under the bus. All right, he's not here. Perfect. Moving on. Anybody else have any show and tell? Luff, you got something? Mike, you got something? Well, yeah. Mike's not muted, so we'll go with Mike first. Go ahead, Mike.
I got the Lister Storm. I think I sold it. I got it just after the chat last week. It's Revo Slot.
Nice.
Stock, it was decent out of the box, not quite up to the speed of the bigger cars, the Toyota LMP and the Mercedes CLK, any of those. But it's a nice car. It's well done. Some people have complained about the chrome louvers in the front. You can see them a little bit there. But for me, it's okay. I could see blackening those, but at this point, I don't want to.
They're complaining that it's chrome, not black.
Right. Okay. I don't know if the real car has whether it's chrome or black, but at any rate,
well, I'm sure it's black because otherwise they wouldn't complain about it. You know how rivet counters are.
Yeah, well, don't even get me started. So anyway, yeah, I raced it last week, and it did pretty well. It finished second in the race, although it was an oxygen race and there were problems.
Yeah.
But we'll go into that later.
Okay. So is the Lister in the same class as the Toyota and the 911 and?
Well,
wouldn't
it's
think so.
more of the like the Supra
More
and
of
the
a GT2 car.
GT2. And,
Okay, that's what I was thinking. But you mentioned.
Yeah, it goes in with the Viper and the
Yeah.
Celica and the Porsche and all of those.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think it runs really well. And
Yeah, it does.
The one that I got was particularly quiet for a Revo Slot.
Mine too.
Yeah.
I agree.
So they seem to be
It's-
getting their gear meshes and things a lot better lately.
Yeah.
How does
Yeah,
how does it compare in dimensions to the other cars?
It's very wide. It's actually quite short. I think it's only just a little bit longer guide to rear axle than the Porsches, but it's very wide.
Yeah.
Could be a good car then.
Let's see. Yeah, 65 millimeters wide.
Yeah, it's like 2 or 3 millimeters wider even than the Corvette,
Yeah.
but it's shorter.
But
Could be a Markham Skiller.
It
decently.
could be, yeah.
How close to being unable to pass a Lister Storm with a Lister Storm are you on your Scale Electric track then, Mike?
Don't know. I haven't tried. I only have one. I will only have one.
But it's a 65 as opposed to 75 millimeters between the slots. So in a straight line, there's still 10 millimeters between them. So
Well, the thing is, it's heavy enough to bash a little bit on the ghost cars that I got running sometimes. So, and not get too badly knocked off the track. But it was good. It didn't. I raced it with the other bigger cars only because it was close enough. It was. I think I finished third in qualifying, but I was only about a tenth or tenth and a half off, if I remember correctly. In my testing, it was about 3 to 4 tenths, but it was still new out of the box. So, it's hard to tell when you've got one that isn't broken in and, you haven't fiddled with it a little bit. I'll play with it a little bit more. It was also hard to tell because we had problems with missed laps and short laps and all kinds of stuff like that. So it was, but it was fun. I enjoyed it. Yeah, I had to work hard to keep up with the Mercedes CLK. So it was a good race all in all. So
it's really
anyway,
quite interesting. Is my CLK is the slowest of all the Revos that I have.
Really?
Yeah, because it's the heaviest.
Yeah, it is the heaviest, but apparently it isn't quite as affected on my track for some reason. It just it seems to go really well. The
Just shows
Toyota
how things change from track to track.
Yeah, for sure. But overall, I'm pretty satisfied with it. And I'm glad to see they're getting their gear mesh better out of the box, and also that the gear seems to be more round rather than oval shaped as some of them have been, or elliptical even. So, but yeah, that's a good thing. It's nice and quiet, and they seem to be getting their act together on it. So yeah, I like it.
Alrighty, moving on. Big Dan, what would you like to share?
Good day, everyone. I'm in Chris Walker mode this week. I'm on a different laptop. Someone came up to me and said they rescued this laptop that someone was going to throw into a skip as waste. It wasn't working. I plugged it in and it fired up, and I got myself a free i7 computer. And so the only thing I didn't know until this morning is that it doesn't have a working camera in it. So maybe I'll take it back to the skip and throw it away. But
Well, Dan, you've never looked better.
yeah. Well, I did say to Don earlier on, before most of you guys are on, that there'll probably be some, positive comments about me not being on camera. So it started already. It didn't take you long, did it? We're only 11 minutes in, and you're already bagging me. So yeah, Jim did a bit of a video on the new Advanced Slot releases about a week or so ago, and Advanced Slot are a curious brand. I like them because they've got some of the best looking LMP bodies around, and some and they're like the Lotus GT1 and things like that. And but you do have to work on them to get them going. And one of the things, as I said, they're curious designs, and I'm just going to share a screen here if I'd still remember how. So share, that's it, and I'll go that. Right now,
Oh, so good.
I'll just
There you go.
okay. Now this is the chassis. This is the chassis, the rear end of the chassis off a Porsche RS Spider that I bought probably 2 or 3 years ago, maybe a little longer. And the inline, there are dedicated inline chassis, as you can see from that picture. There's no room to put an angle winder in, and it's mainly because they're very low over the wheel arches, and they've got that narrow center section with the airbox on top, so there's not much room for an angle winder motor on the sides of it. But I'll show you in the next picture, the outer chassis and the pod attached together by there's some little lugs with a hole in them on the pod, which I'll show you in the next picture. And obviously I've used the Nylock lots as recommended by Mr. Walker some time ago. And so when you buy a chassis for, say, an Audi RM LMP 10, or the Audi R10, is it, the LMP, you think you're going to get a similar chassis to this. And so I was quite surprised, and I'll just see if I can move to the next picture. No, there we go here. Oh, sorry, that's not the picture I want. That's the picture. So this is the pod. That's the same as the one in the previous chassis I just showed you. You'll see there's a little mounting hole for the bolt and nut, or the screw to go through. This is one I had bought again some years ago, I think from Pendle, when I had some things in mind to set up alternate motors and things, and just change the pod. And this little lug, the mounting plate where the hole goes through, it sits down a bit lower than this locating lug, which plugs into the chassis. Now, when you buy your next similar chassis car, you think you're going to get something with similar mounting holes on it, but this has got nothing. All it's got is these little lugs that sit into the chassis, and the chassis that it was supplied with, the body I bought, had no mounting points on it either. So these two bits and pieces just float independently of one another. And I said, Advanced Slot do some curious things at times. I did look in the chassis, and there's these things that look like a leaf spring that go, that slide up in the, I'll just go back to picture number, this one here.
That one, yeah.
In this channel up here, there are these
set screws.
thin leaf springs that go in there. And you can, I suppose the idea is to try and give you some sort of springy suspension. But if you use them in that one that's got no mounting points on it, all it does is push the axle up against the top of the, and instead of a recessed place where the axle sits down and has got clearance through the chassis, on the chassis that came with my Audi, it had a hoop over the top of here. So all you do with the springs is push them up and rub against the thing. So you're really weird at times. But I'll have some better pictures next time. I'm still getting to not so much to grips with this computer, but still getting my act together and to try and do things. But Jim did
But
comment
hang on.
Eh?
The pod, the two little ears on the pod need to be underneath those leaf springs, not on top of the leaf springs.
Yeah, but then it pushes. Then it just falls out the bottom because it just falls out the. And I thought I might have got a dud, but I looked on a couple of the slot forums, going back for years and years when these first things were released, and everybody had the same comments. That the things they've got no up stop and they've got no down stop. The pod could literally.
The hoop's not supposed to be the upstop.
No, well, it'll be more apparent once I grab the picture of the actual chassis I'm talking about. It'll be a bit more, but I did find it based on pod number, this pod here. I found that if I cut a slit that ran underneath the lug, at the same level, I could actually push those leaf springs back in. And so now I've got a way of fixing it. And again, that'll be more apparent when I've got some photos of it. But I only discovered that last night. I was looking around for all sorts of solutions and not finding one. And anyway, as I said, they do have some curious designs at times. That's Jim was talking about the difference in the two chassis, and I did show this one about a month ago where I made a bottom plate out of a bit of thin styrene on the old narrower Revo Slot chassis. It's not Revo Slot, Avant Slot chassis, and that sort of gives it a little bit stability because the body sides sit on the the plate here and here. And of course, this is the new chassis that's on my Crema Porsche, which has got the full chassis, built from scratch. The only thing I've done there is I've taken out the green pod with the adjustable motor mount, where you can move the motor mount back and forward, because it just doesn't work. I mean, as Chris and Dennis said when I first presented it a few weeks back, there was the likelihood, and in the end, the actual just the too much flexing between the axle uprights and the pod. So I just replaced it with a standard one that I had in. Oh, and that's just a picture of the little of the Lotus Elise. Nice, as I said, nice body. So I got quite a collection of Avant Slot cars. I'll probably line them up and take a photo just so you can see how many I have got. But the only, I think in your class over there at Electric Dreams, Dennis, I think Rob Bender was actually running an Avant Slot at one stage in your GT class, your Tuesday night class. But I'm the only person in our club that actually runs them. So yeah, so that was just
Rob ran the Avant Slot. He also ran a couple of other weird things with. I think his Avant Slot had a 3D chassis under it. I don't think it was the original chassis.
Yeah, well, the Oliver people do make quite a selection to go under Avant Slot.
Not a very successful car.
Yeah. Okay, well,
the regular Avant Slots with the inline motors, the LMPs, they run pretty well on the Electric Dreams track.
Yep. Yeah, I found the inlines. I think Mike said he's had some trouble seeing. I found the inlines much easier to set up than the angle winders. Although I do it,
I do have my chatter.
Yeah, I do have my new Crema Porsche going pretty well now because I've braced the rear axle, bearings, and put a brace in there to keep it and use the solid pod, so that makes things a bit better. Yeah. Okay, folks, I'll pass over to someone else then.
In defence of Motown Slot, we've had a few Le Mans 24 hours where Avant Slot body shells have proved to be very, very successful on the Oliver chassis that you mentioned, actually. One in particular, a Pescarolo, was a regular competitor. It's done the event several times in LMP2 category, and it's a really, really nice body shell with Lexan windows in it as standard. I think it wasn't modified much in it at all. in terms of getting the body shell to any weight regulation limit, because most body shells seem to need some weight removal, but that I think had got very little. Yeah, from what I've seen of the Advanced Slot body shells, they're particularly nice.
Yeah, very nice.
Yep.
And the Pescarolo, for some reason, has a very good balance to it.
Yeah, I was just thinking there is someone else in our club runs, and when one of the guys we call Coxie, I sold him a few cars for his daughter. She's only 8 or 9 now. And one of the cars I sold her was an Avant Pescarolo. Say that 6 times quickly. And but I had a Ninko NC5 motor in it to tone it, tame it down a bit for her. But it handles really well, and she gets through the S's as quick as anyone, just because of the quality of that chassis. Okay then. Yeah.
And when you use them with they made aluminum motor pods at one stage as well. Or aluminium for you then.
Yeah. I do speak fluent aluminum.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, I've seen those pods. Pendle's still got them, and at about 20 quid each, they can keep them.
Yeah, I guess. It does make them a little stiffer and quieter.
Yeah. Aluminum pods and with bearings in them at the same time. You get the bearings as well. Yeah.
I have one in mind. I have the Porsche Spider too.
Yeah.
And it has an aluminum pod in it, and it's absolutely useless. I mean, I've never gotten any use out of the car at all. It was one of those things. Well, let's try one of those, and it's like failed experiment. So, yeah. I also have a RS Spider by Scale X-Rick, which is really nice. It's one of the faster LMP cars that I've got for the Scale X-Rick class. So anyway, that's all.
Can I do my thing now?
Sure.
Who are you?
Just quick, you guys. So a while back, somebody had requested a thumb screw for the tramming screw on the grinder. And I had a model from another creator, but it required a longer screw. And I didn't want to add another screw to the bill of materials and everything and have to buy that and supply that and all that. But then I finally realized, hey, I can just design my own that doesn't require a longer screw. So this is basically a simple print that is only as thick as the head of the screw, pretty much. And so it doesn't reduce the distance of the tramming plus or minus 2 millimeters in either direction. And you can easily turn it by hand now without having to get out an Allen wrench. Those are included in all kits moving forward, and the file is online for anybody to print. If you want one, just send me a message and I'll figure out how to get you one. But that's pretty much it for that.
10 minutes.
Does anybody else? Thanks, Wayne. Does anybody else have any show and tell they want to do? Alrighty, moving on to Club Corner. Anybody got any Club Corner they want to talk about? Past, present, or future racing, preferably enjoyable racing. Big Dan, go ahead.
Sounds like your Club Corner is not too enjoyable.
Yeah. Oh,
go ahead, Big Dan.
Well, mine's really enjoyable, as you see when the results come up on the screen. Otherwise, I wouldn't be presenting them. So I'll do it. Yeah, we and share. That's right. You get rusty at this game. Yeah, there we go. Boy, this new computer whacks them on the screen quickly. I love that. Yeah. Yeah. So we've changed to Saturday racing now to see if we can attract a few more entries. It hasn't been all that good at the moment. Everyone's we're either clashing with another club or people have got other things on. But these were the results from a couple of weeks ago. We did race again last Saturday, but the pictures haven't been loaded onto Facebook yet. So we started off with Group 5, and that's Den's car, number 51, sitting at the front of the pack. So pretty enjoyable with that. It was, and I'm just gonna. There we go. There's the result. Fairly close. Again, just I mean, probably wasn't even a full lap in that, but yeah. So that was a good start for me. I had the car was after a bit. That was after a bit of a break before that was on. So. And then we moved on to Group C, and there I am again in the number 1 position. Our 6th member had made it by this stage, and I beat him by about six or 7 feet, and he wasn't happy at all. But so I took great delight in saying I'm just in front of you when we marked our position. So as you can see there, again the top 4, within a couple of laps. And final class. Oh, we'll just skip over that one because I didn't win. No, here we go. There's the LMP GT1 class, and a bit of variety there. I think 3 Revos, a couple of Slottets, and some old clown driving an advanced slot Porsche Spider. So there we go. It was good racing again, pretty close. I wasn't all that far out of it. So just had one. Well, as you can see there, I never seem to be able to get much grip on the red lane. You say same goes for the other. I think go for the other results. I always seem to start off bad on the red. My red lane's always a couple of laps down on my results on the other track. So. Anyway, if I can, I might have to employ the method that your friend in South Africa did years ago of having a false start until the tyres warm up, Dennis. So so yeah, that's just a quick report. Hopefully, the next time we get together, I'll have a couple more. Oh, sorry, we're finished for the year now, and we won't resume till about mid-January. But it's been a pretty good year. That guy Scotty that's in the result here, he travels up from Hobart fairly regularly to our events, so it's good. He's been a great supporter of the group this year. So anyway, he's had a couple of trips to the Revo Slot Nationals and the Slot at Nationals, so he enjoys travelling for his slot car racing. So, okie doke, off we go. And I'm and audio.
All right, thanks, Big Den. And it looks like Dewan is next. Go ahead, Mr. Clark.
Got surprised. Sorry about that. I've been ready.
No worries.
I actually we had a race for the Far Out Club this past weekend, but it was my grandson's birthday, so I did not actually go. But nonetheless, I did. I'm going to share with you guys what the club did. So we had 2 races. One was the the old Ninko Classics Le Mans, and then the other one was the F1s. And so this was the podium. I don't know why 80s cars in it. He finished 4th, but somehow he just had to get an honorable mention there. But so it was won by well, you can see those are the cars that made the podium, and these are the cars for the podium for the F1 classes. And I'll kind of get to the this was the actual race results. Kevin Tabucci winning the Ninko class with this Jag. Walter Baines 2nd, and Tom Giese finishing 3rd. And again, like I said, we had 20 racers, and I didn't get to participate this time around.
Hey, Dewan.
I'm going to try to make a habit of really trying to report all the results of the club, no matter whether I participate or not. And I'm also going to try to start documenting the report the club a little bit better as well. Were you saying something?
Okay. Yeah. How is that Ninko Classic? Is that pretty popular in the club? Do you know? Is it one of the more liked? I missed that class. We don't race it anymore. I just curious how it does.
It's one that goes up on the chopping block for consideration every year, but it
Yeah.
seems to it makes it through, because it is the slowest, but they're still fun as hell,
Yeah.
But it's a gas, and so and we have them limited. You can't find the original motor, so we have a new Predator motor that's been allowed to replace. I think it's a 1200 RPM motor. I can't remember exactly, but it's a very low end motor that we can do to replace the other motor. So you can buy a car and put that Predator motor in because the new cars don't have the old motors that we have spec for our class. So yeah, but it does get up the question because but it's just so much fun. People always continue to, but it does get on the list of things to kind of reconsider. And so this is the F1 results. Walter Baines and Tom Geesey again, and Kevin Tabucci. So it's really the top three from both races. Just switched the order around a little bit. And so that was the two classes that finished up the year. And this is now the overall standings for the 2024 season. And so the overall championship was won by Tom Geesey. And you see that he's in a podium of the top six of six of the 8 classes, or the 9 classes. I think we had 9 classes total. But he's on the podium of the first 6 of these here. So as well as Kevin Tabucci, who finished 3rd, but he was on, I think, 8 of the 9 podiums for the different classes. I think that's my count. I can't remember. But anyway, so these were the different classes and the winners for each one of the different classes. And I don't know why Tom and Kevin don't really come out and participate in a lot of the big electric dream races and things like that, because they are tremendously talented. I tell you, this group with for our club is just, and I've said it many times before, they're exceptionally talented group. And this kind of goes into the overall standings, how it's calculated in the total point systems. I know you can't see all the details there, but nonetheless, it's quite extensive. And for the season, I finished 16th, only because you get points for just showing up, the most part. But so yeah, that was the Borrow Club, and there is another club spinoff that's out in Arizona by Bob Scott, the guy that makes a lot of the Wood Rider tracks. He's kind of headed the far out slot car group in the Arizona area, and rumor has it that in 2025 there might potentially be one in the Las Vegas area. That's all I have.
Well, Dewan, congratulations. You weren't last.
Yes.
You know what? Showing up has value. I'll just kind of go off on a tangent real quick. Not that I'm complaining, but I'll complain that the Monday Analog group is getting new members, which is always a good thing, because if you're not growing, you're shrinking. And the problem is mainly a me problem, because I'm not a night owl. I don't like staying up late, and we race on a weeknight, Monday nights, right? So it's not an all day, middle of the day thing. I go out in the evening after dinner, and the more people there are, the more time it takes. And with these extra people, it's been taken until like 11 o'clock, and that's 2 hours past my preferred bedtime. And I was just looking at the numbers, and I'm like, holy cow. If everybody shows up who's a regular member and the newer members, we would have like 14 people. which is 5 or 6 above what used to be normal. But the de facto kind of club leader, guy who loves racing, doesn't want to change the schedule of racing at all, right? So we still do King of the Hill, and then IROC, and then 3 full rotations of the series cars, which means 5 rotations for everybody that's there. 14 people means 70 heats. 70 heats that we're supposed to be starting at 7 and ending by 10. 70 heats is 140 minutes of pure beep to beep race time. Almost 2.5 hours of beep to beep race time that they're trying to squeeze into 3 hours. You guys know darn well that there's a whole bunch of time between the beeps that ain't racing. So that pretty much puts the whole thing at like 4 hours, which is what's happening. And I'm like, man, I'm seriously considering not going anymore, because I'm like Debbie Downer to all these guys. They're fine, they're staying up late. They're happy to do that. Some of them always stay up late. Some of them don't care. They want to get all that racing in. More power to them. Enjoy it. So I don't want to be there complaining about how long it's taken just because I want to go home early. and the
Greg,
next race.
It sounds like a nice problem to have, though.
That's what I'm saying. I don't want to complain, but I'm complaining. I mean, I want the group to continue to thrive and have new members over the years, and but something's got to give, right? So either I'm giving or something else. It's probably going to be me that does the giving. The next race is at my house. So if all those people show up, something's getting cut. Probably King of the Hill, maybe also IROC. Like if everybody shows up, that's still a lot of race time just for doing the 3 rotations, which our fearless de facto leader refuses to do less than 3 full rotations of.
Sorry, is there a possibility of starting earlier for some people?
A lot of people don't show up until practically 7 o'clock. A lot of people, work, and they work like in Seattle and got to go through rush hour. And I would start earlier, but I don't work. So that wouldn't be fair to them. In fact, one of the guys, we did start a few minutes early a couple weeks ago because we thought everybody was there, and we're like, this is going to be a lot of racing. Let's start a few minutes early. Not that it made any real difference, but then he comes in and like he comes in between heats, and he didn't realize we had started early, so he walks straight up to the track to get in some practice laps before we start racing. I'm like, no, sorry, we're racing already. Go have a seat. Wait your turn. Yeah, I'm an old man yelling at clouds. So we'll see what happens on Monday. Okay, go. I assume you're all done to one.
Yeah. So you guys are racing this Monday. That'll be your last race of the year, or you guys gonna go every week?
I think technically Monday is the last Monday of the year. I don't know. Is there another Monday after?
There's another one.
Oh no, I guess the 30th is still there. So we'll probably race on the 30th. These guys pretty much, even when there's a holiday, rather than not race, they just shift it over to Tuesday. So pretty much never not race with these guys. Because it's their passion. It's that's their thing they do every week. Some of them every single day of the week. Like the guy that came late, I think I mentioned on previous chats, he's one of the newer guys, and he's getting as much racing as he can possibly get in. So he's racing with every racing group in the area that he can find and hook up with. So that's what he does every night, pretty much. Races all commercial 124th and hard body 132 and HO, all of it. He's loving it. Anywho, all right, I'm done. You're done. Go ahead, Mr. Rose.
Well, Greg, I'm a night owl, but I totally agree with you. One of our most successful programs is an HO program, which we had last night. It's every other Tuesday. Doors open at 7. Qualifying, we actually do qualifying at 7:30. Race starts a few minutes later, and it's one class. He runs one class for about 3 months, and we do move ups. So the qualifying sets the mains, and you have move ups, and there is a definitive A main for the last 4 guys. And then after that, it's a round robin IROC, and that's the format. It's a perfect format. We're always done by 10. Some of us stay there until 12:30 and BS and bench race like I did last night. So I'm tired today, but it's a great format. And I being a night owl myself, but I totally agree with you. Anyway, what I wanted to talk about today is this is a future race. I mentioned we were going to have a big NSR race at Motown, and so we've got it officially announced. And so come February 1st and 2nd, which is the week before the Super Bowl, so there's no football conflicts in the Bay Area. We don't seem to have to worry about that this year. But the Motown Classics, it is sponsored by Professor Motor. And so this is going to be a big deal. I think it's going to be an awesome race. It's a 2-day race. It is set up for 4 specific cars. It's the NSR Classic Le Mans, so no open cockpit cars. Those four cars are the legal cars, including in the Mark 1 and the Mark II, which are essentially the same cars. So Mark 1, Mark 2, Mark 4, P68, and Porsche. So if you're a Ford lover, you're good. If you're a Porsche lover, you're okay. What we tried to do with this race is make it user-friendly for out-of-towners and for locals too as well. Not trying to chase tires, chase motors, spend 10 hours in the track testing with ballast and so forth. So it is a stock motor, the motor that comes with a car. There is a spec tire. The tire is a unique tire specifically made just for this race. He has quite a few on hand. To put it in numbers, he's got 250 pairs of these. They are very similar to the light gray, if you're familiar with the light gray, but they're in a darker color. So essentially, they're the light gray tire in a darker color, so we can easily tech it. So you don't have to worry about, because Motown, you can chase tires all day long on that track, and it's a pain in the butt. So this will definitely help locals as well as out-of-towners. In the same regard, limited ballast. You can only use these, and you can only use them in the pockets on the motor pod. So again, trying to make this a user-friendly for the locals as well as out-of-towners, which everybody on the left coast, you're invited to this. Hope to see you then. I don't know this for certain, but maybe Dennis does. My understanding is that Electric Dreams may not be racing in January because of some remodeling things. So hopefully we get some people from Southern California area.
Yeah,
So
the store probably is not even open at that point.
Oh, I thought the store was open, but anyway, the racing is closed down for January, my understanding. So this will be a big race, first part of the year. The format is one we developed last year, actually before Electric Dreams did this. And so this is the basic format. So there's going to be knockout qualifying. Top 2 go to the semis directly. Then you run the qualifying heats sorted by the qualifying. Top 8 goes to the semis. And then this will be on Saturday. And on Sunday, because this is a 2-day race, Sunday we'll have the last chain race, or actually the last chance race. And it'll be a big round robin. And so you'll get an extra chance to go to the semis. So to move up to the semis, you've got three chances: qualifying, the heats, or the last chance. And the main purpose of the last chance was not to give the guys that didn't make it a chance to move up. It does that. But the main purpose was to give everybody racing 2 full rounds of heats, so more bang for your buck, so to speak. And then we'll have two 6-car semis, and the top 6 advance to the main. So that's the format. I think we did that last year, very similar to that, but all in one day because we had 2 classes. So this is going to be just the one class, and it spread out over 2 days. Because we have the last chance qualifier, if for some reason you just can't make it on Saturday, then you could just come in and take your chances in running in the last chance. Pit space
You just run 6 cars per heat, or are you only running on 6 lanes of the track?
We're only running on 6 lanes, yeah. Pit space is designated, so when you sign up, you can sign up for your own pit space. It'll be set up like this. We've already got, I think, 14 or 16 people signed up on the website. So the pit space it's not limited, but if we get 45 or so people, which we're kind of expecting in that range, 40, maybe a few over, The format is designed for 44 people. If we go over that, we'll have to refigure out the format slightly. But as you can see, there's been a lot of work put into this race. That's the logo there on the left. The race is sponsored by Professor Motor, and we understand that they're coming out for the race. And this is the website, or the sign-up website. So we have the entries. You get one set of tires with your entry, and you can buy 3 additional sets of tires. So you have a total of 4 sets of tires if you want to do that. T-shirts are available. Pit space is free, but you do have to sign up for it when you enter the race. And so that's one way to find out. The easy way to find out about Motown is to go on their Facebook page. Yeah, on Facebook group on Facebook. So Motown Raceway on Facebook, and you can see all the information on upcoming races as well as this event. So it's going to be a big year for Motown. There's a lot more stuff coming that I can't talk about just yet, but there's some more big races coming up later in the year, and so a big step forward for Motown Raceway in terms of notoriety and big races. And we have local races. We race twice a month there, so that's what's going on with Motown.
I missed the format of the car. I'm sorry, the configuration of the motor pods. Did you mention that?
Oh, yeah, Sidewinder, angle winder, inline.
Oh, it's NSR Classics. They're all Sidewinder. I mean, I just highlighted a couple of the highlight rules to make it easier, but the complete rules are there on the website as well. But it's an NSR Classic. You saw the 4 cars, stock pod. You can run any of the stiffnesses of chassis. Gearing is open, and those are the basic rules.
Okay.
So, out of curiosity, what kind of compound are the spec tires?
They're super grips. In theory, they're super grips.
Okay.
All right.
As long as you're asking, I'm expecting that you're coming.
I just looked at the calendar, and actually, it's actually an open spot on my calendar.
Well, we did it specifically because that's the one when you get to the end of the NFL season, whether your team's in it or not, everybody's kind of excited about it. So it's the week between the NFL championships and the Super Bowl. So there's no football that week, and that's why we picked that date.
I have an added thought for Jim.
Yeah.
On the classes, I agree with what you're doing with the cars. The P68 is going to have the advantage. Allow the 917 and the Fords to remove their spare tires. That's high body weight, and it makes them more competitive with the P68s.
Good thought. I don't have a 917, so I didn't realize it had a tire in. So maybe we will maybe you've done it, weigh the bodies if they're close or not.
Yeah, it's even got rubber on that stupid thing, so it's way high and it's heavy.
I will have to check with the powers that be because I'm one of them, but I'm not the definitive answer. But I would be in favor of that. Yeah.
All right, good idea. Anybody else got any racing they want to talk about? Otherwise, we'll open up the floor as long as it's slot car related, any scale.
We're expecting you for that too, by the way.
Just in regard to the NSR races, Jim, are they providing sunglasses to competitors if you're running your iridescent green P68?
That's British Racing Green. You haven't seen British Racing Candy Lime Green? It's not all that bright. It's a nice car. It's not super bright, but no, I'm not supplying those.
Is it lime green or limey green?
That's a good one. Yeah, so it's British Racing Candy Limey Green. I forget, I can't remember if it's a Testers or if it's I think it's a Testers color, but it's candy lime green.
Well, I'll make a comment regarding our racing. We're racing this Thursday night. And Jeremy, you're welcome to come. We'll be racing Slotted Classics, our open classes. You can run anything. We run trucks, VW vans, everything together. Then we'll run our Group 2 Revos. Be the other cars we'll be running. But thing to Greg, when we race, we start at 7, doors open at 6. We usually have 6 to 14 people. I set the time on the race link based on how many people are there, so it can be done by at least 9:30 of racing. So instead of racing, if we have less people run a 2-minute race, if we have more people, we run a minute 45, and if a lot of people run a minute 30 race.
Yeah.
To get our classes in, so we're still done by the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, getting these guys to change the race format is pulling teeth. That's just crazy. But yeah, that's a great idea. I mean, basically, yeah. Do you guys race crash and burn, or put the cars right back on, or?
It depends. If we have enough people, we would rather just use marshals. If we don't have enough people, I have a single marshal cord we can plug in. The drivers can use it, but that way somebody's watching the track and we can marshal it quicker than what you can yourself.
Yep.
Just depends on how we show up.
Yeah. That's a good idea. Maybe I'll look at, because we do have at least one of the guys runs his racing completely different. You know, at Russ's track, he loves the fuel, so we basically don't run King of the Hill or IROC. We just run 3 rotations of the series, fully marshaled, because the heats are 3.5, almost 4 minutes with having to stop for fuel. So I could just decide at my track, this is how we're going to run the race, and maybe do something like that. Do you use a race coordinator for that?
Yes. Yes, we do.
Yeah, it's got some pretty good features like that. So you invited Jeremy. Is what you're doing this Thursday not the same as what Jeremy does?
No, he lives in Iowa City. He lives about an hour and a half away. Sometimes those guys from that area show up on Thursday nights. We've never got Jeremy there on Thursday night yet.
It's hard for me to get out there on Thursday night because wife, kids,
I know it
work
is.
and everything, and it's an hour and a half drive there to race for 4 hours, and then hour and a half back. It's like I'm exhausted by the time I get home. So,
Yeah, no, I wouldn't do that.
It's hard. I sound like a whiner, but it's hard. Like when they have a Saturday or Sunday race, I'm there all the time. I think I've been to several.
Yeah, he is.
But I can't do that. I'm too old at this point.
All right, Big Den, you put your hand back up.
Yeah, just thought took the a few minutes to take a couple more pictures of that curious Avant slot chassis. So I'll do a quick share, just 3 pictures, only take a minute or so.
Yeah.
Oh. The computer goes fast, but I'm not up to the speed of the computer yet. Yeah, so that's what the back of the chassis looks like. So it's got the hoops over the top of where the axle goes through, whereas the Spider's chassis has got a recess under here and no hoop. As you can see, there are no fixing points to get the back of the pod, to get the pod connected to the chassis. This is the body mounting hole there. And if I move on to, where are it? Okay, so there's an overhead view of the thing from the bottom, so you can see where the hoops are there. This channel down here is where those leaf springs, as I call them, go. And the last one, you can see here, this is the back of that pod that I had. And here's where the mounting hole is, and I've just managed to cut with an X-Acto knife, cut a little slot through there where that spring can poke back, and it'll control the up and the down movement. So it still gives fore and aft, front and back movement, but depending, it won't give much up and down movement, which you don't really want anyway, I don't think so. So that's the solution that I came up with last night after many frustrated attempts at trying. So hopefully it'll be a few weeks before I can get the thing on the track to see if it works okay. So okay, I'll just sort of throw that in while we had a bit of a lull in proceedings. So.
And those little leaf springs that are used there are actually not very good springs because they bend.
Yeah, I know.
They are not spring steel, which they should be, but they to get them flat and to get them both exactly the same, left to right, is a bit of a challenge.
Yeah, well, when I first saw them, I didn't know they were. I mean, it just looked like a bit of over molded plastic, on the side of the chassis until I started looking around, say, oh, hang on, this thing slides out. And then when I looked at my Spider, not that it employs those springy thingies, it's got the same ones there, but I just hadn't noticed them before.
Yeah, and then the idea was that there's three spots down the length of those springs where you could put in set screws.
Yeah.
And the idea was that you use the different ones in order to get more travel.
Yeah, I was gonna hold it up for everyone to see, but of course I don't have a working camera, so that one. Yeah. Okay, doke. Yeah, thanks, Dennis.
Okay.
All right, what you got, Jeremy?
All right, I've got the biggest innovation in slot car racing since the invention of silicone tires. Hold on to the
Ready
edge of
to
your
make
seat.
another tens of dollars.
Well, this is not going to make me any of dollars. Let me see if I can share. Where's the share button? Share screen. Here we go. Give me just a second here.
He's sharing for the good of humanity.
There you
So
go.
there should be I have rules up for team racing. Now, we've all had team racing before where you take a race and you put the best guy with the worst guy and you kind of pare them down until you find a median. So what we do in this race format, and now this has proven wildly successful with the Girl Scouts that I know. Now, I do know a lot of Girl Scouts. It's nothing weird. It's just both of my daughters are into it, and we've done this a couple times now, and they had a lot of fun. What you do, and I'll provide the links to these rules. They're freely available to everybody, and there's a more in-depth video I made on this. So the first race, you get 8 people together. I'm just going to say for a 4-lane track, you get 8 people, but it works with, if you have an 8-lane track and you have 16 people, or if you have a 3-lane track and you have 6 people, it still works. You get 8 people together and you run everybody through an IROC race with cars staying on the lane. So in this case, I've got the red car, white, green, orange car. Everybody races it, and the race director will kind of sort the race how he wants. He's not going to tell everybody what the winning format is, and I'll explain that later, but it'll be either time, best lap, median, average time. He'll pick one of those. That way nobody can kind of take it easy so they get paired with somebody really good. You don't know what the winning strategy is. You just got to do your best. We take a look at that. We sort everybody by first and eighth the same way as we normally would, but in this IROC race, the first place guy gets $900,000 money in cash, and the last place guy gets $100,000 cash. Now, I know what you're thinking. What are you talking about? Where are you going to get this cash from? Look at all this money. Look at that right there. Now, you'll get that money. You'll get your envelope for your team. Your team is, this is the second place guy and the 7th place. So this is team 27. So let's just say it's me and Greg on a team. We get together and we talk and we say, I found the Red Bull car had a lot of straight and top speed, but the BMW Bank car, it handled better in the turns. And then Greg says, no, I think the yellow car was the best one overall. Now, we're on the same team now. We're co-owners of this operation. So we've got to come together on a decision here. Like, now Greg set a better time than I did. So he's looking at me and he's going, okay, since you're the worst driver in this equation, which car handled better for you? And I'll say the yellow car. Okay. So Greg gives in. We then, everybody starts talking on their teams about where they finish. Everybody's got $1 million to spend, and we're going to start bidding on which of those 4 cars we want. Or if you have 8 lanes, there's going to be 8 cars. The director will hand out a sheet to everybody. The sheet will say car 1 and how much do you want to bid on it. And Greg and I say, well, it'd be nice if we get the car 1, but we don't need it. So we're just going to bid $200,000 on that one. We'll bid $300,000 on this one, but we really want the car 4. So we're going to bid $700,000. That sounds stupid, but we can't afford anybody else to get it. Now, if we know that car really stinks, we can use our own brain and go, well, nobody else is going to bid on that. Let's lowball it. Let's go 300 and hope nobody bids on it. And then car 3, we're just going to put 100,000 because we don't really care if we get it, but if we get it, great. So we fill out our form, we fold it in half, we wait for the race director to say, okay, the race director, he's racing, he needs to turn in his bid first so that way he can't cheat and see everybody else's bids. Fold it in half, turn it into the race director. The race director will then sort the cars and go, aha. So the first team bid $1 million on the red car because it is the fastest car. Fine. We go through and everybody gets their car. Greg and I, we wind up getting the orange car for, what did we say, 600,000, whatever it is. We have $400,000 left. We pay with our money that we got here. We pay the money to the race director. We're sitting back on 400,000 left. The race starts in any race format you're used to in your club. If you're used to a timed race or a heat race or a lap race, whatever it is, you just race it But the only thing you would do different is you would go 2 times through. That way, each driver with their team's car, we're racing the yellow car or the orange car, I said. Since we're racing that car, so Greg and I, that car is going to go through each lap or each lane twice because I'm going to have to drive on the red lane, then Greg's going to have to, but it's easy enough to do. You just go through twice. Once we have a winner of that team race event, so like say team 1, they win $1 million. Let's say Greg and I finished 3rd, but we still had our team money that we saved from the bidding process of 600. So now we're at 1.2 million. Did we beat the first place team? Probably, because they bet $1 million or they paid $1 million for the best car. Even if they finished first, we beat them by being financial stewards of our money and our team and our organization. And that's the winner, is the team with the most money at the end of the event. So it's basically 2 races. It's the IROC race, seed your division, and then the teams get together and it's a team race to the end to see who makes the most money. That's the easy way to do it. I've included a video with like all the questions and answers because some of the questions that I've had people pop up early in this process were, what happens if we have it set up for 8 people, but only 7 people show up? That's easy enough to do. The worst place driver becomes a privateer. And since he ain't got enough money because he's a privateer, he only gets 500,000 to bid. Sorry, that's the cost of showing up without a team. So I've got little questions and answers like that. I go into a more advanced information here on if you use an advanced race program like Race Coordinator, it can set every single thing up. So for example, here, you would give out bonus points, which are dollars. So a heat win is worth $125,000. But when you total it up for the amount of races, that's $1 million for your team. So it works out the same. It just kind of breaks the points down. I give it a few bonus points here, like the fastest lap for the entire race. It seems silly, but it's a $250,000 payout because you get big time TV rights when you get that deal. So you get that deal, you make more money. And if you're a 3rd place team, it can bump you up 1 level up into 2nd place, but it can't bump you past them. I've worked out the math on this. So you always can get that bump. If you're the worst place team, like you're the top driver and the worst driver, the one thing that always kind of stinks about that is that he's a good driver, but he's stuck waiting for this slower guy. So his advantage then is if he can get that fastest lap, he can pull his team back up 1 step ahead. So I've done a lot of math on this, kind of figured it out. The advanced section is for somebody who has Race Coordinator. You can set it up so it's already ready to go. I've included a few things here for, like, if you want to do this as a series season, you would then just take the money your team wins, divide it in half, and let's just say Greg and I won 1.2 million. Now we divide that in half. What's that? 600,000. Now for the series, Greg and I have 600,000. The next time we race that event, we add our next totals. Whoever's the driver of the year is the guy who got the most winnings through the season. And then, like I said, there's odd number of racers, 3 to 8 lanes. I include in the document a printout and some examples how to deal with cheaters, because there's always cheaters. And here's the printouts for money is included and driver printouts. Bring it to your next Girl Scout meeting. They will love it. It just adds a little more element of not only racing, the best racing, team building, and just a little fun factor for you. That is all I have. Please check out the video. I'll provide the links to Greg later. All right.
Add some kind of gaming to the game.
Yeah,
I mean,
sort
soccer
of.
is a game, but yeah, add some gaming elements.
We've done a few team races, and they're always the same. You know, the worst guy, the best guy. And it's usually the guys that are in like 3rd or 4th spot that win because they've got enough to carry them over. It's just like, it was just annoying me that we always do it the same. We never have anything else to do. So become a team owner today.
Jeremy, I got lost right after you said Girl Scouts. Could you repeat all that, please?
I don't think so. You're going to have to download the FAQ.
Go watch the video on Jeremy's channel.
Yeah, you're going to have to watch that video, bro.
Sounds like fun. I'd have to try that one of these days. If
Hopefully somebody tries it out, provides feedback. That'd be great. Like I said, I've only tried it here. I haven't had any professionals try it yet. I'm going to try to see if I can get Marco to try it with the kids over there.
What happens if everybody bids $1 million on the same car?
If I've got that, I'm glad you asked. I have that in there. The team will be broken down. If all bids on the first car are tied, you sort it. I've got a number of sorting it, and I sorted it by like ranking of drivers here. I'm not sharing it right now, but it's like I've got something for ties in there. It's like the 4th place team gets first choice, then the 3rd, 2nd, and then the 1st place team. So I've got that in place. And then somebody else also asked, what happens if I only bid $100,000? I was like, well, yeah, you could do that, but you're not going to get the best car if somebody bids 200,000. And then the winnings at the end of the race, you get $1 million for first place. You only get 400,000 for fourth place. So you still got to think about your team has to win that team race as well. You can't just go, I'll only bid $100,000 and then I'll win everything. It ain't going to work like that. I've done the math. I know it's hard. All right.
Any other questions?
No. Have fun. Enjoy it.
They're all going. It's one of those things that you're going to have to.
We can go back to talking about digital racing if you guys want, but you better settle down. Settle down.
Do you have a digital version for this?
No, nobody wants a digital version. The 6 people that race digital already have their own fun stuff to do. All right.
All right, guys, I got to go. So I'll see you all next week. Have a very happy
I drove
weekend.
Dennis away. All right, Dennis. See you.
Yeah, no.
So
I just
before you go, hold on. Before you go, so next week the chat is on Christmas Day. So we're still going to have the Zoom, but we're not going to broadcast, right?
Okay.
And basically what I'm saying is the chat is open all day, right? So if you feel like chatting, hop on. If you feel like hanging around for somebody else to hop on, just hop on, leave your computer, on the Zoom. It's basically going to be an all-day thing. Come and go as you please. If you come during the regular time, which is in the evening time, the later time slot technically is next week. Probably going to be more people at that point in time. But if you wake up in the morning, you really want to talk about your new slot cars, hop on the Zoom, wait till somebody hops on with you, and then talk slot cars and show off your shiny new toy. But again, next week, still doing the chat, not doing the broadcast on YouTube.
Beautiful.
Same
Anyway,
for you.
if I
Innings are
don't-
allowed.
If I don't see
What's
you
that?
guys,
Yeah, see you, Dennis.
have
What was that?
have
For New Year's Day?
happy Christmas, happy holidays.
is
As a friend of mine said, may the
Christmas,
God of
yes.
your choice bless you.
Yeah, we'll probably do the same for New Year's Day. Just take it 2 weeks.
I will see you all.
There, Dennis.
Hey, Dennis.
Happy
All right,
holidays.
Dennis. But it also, not only does this kind of relieve anybody's innate pressure of performing for the live broadcast, which please don't have that, but people have that by nature. So it'll be super casual. Try not to talk too much about non-slot stuff, but obviously that's going to happen. So there's no parameters. But to everybody out there who has thought about joining the chat but doesn't want to be on the live, the next 2 weeks is your time to hop on the chat. No pressure, no performance anxiety, no restrictions. Just don't be a douche and don't put bad things up, because if I'm not there, I can't control it. So hopefully you won't get too much of that. Okay, well, floor is open. I guess you guys are all getting ready for Christmas.
Dwan, we're expecting you for that race in February.
I'm trying to pencil it into my calendar, see how it works out. Yeah.
What day was it again?
February 1st and 2nd.
Oh, okay. That is soon.
I can't say I'll make an appearance, but Jaded Parks might make an appearance with some.
Courtney's coming.
Oh, is he?
I wish I could.
You got
I
the-
could do a whirlwind. I could stop in Iowa. I could race the 6 tracks there, and then head to SoCal.
I'll meet you in Iowa. We'll do that, and then head back over here. You can do this one.
I love it. I'll fly out and I'll meet you in the new car, and we'll go break that thing in or break it.
There you go. Yeah.
You guys are doing a world tour.
You saw there's spec tire. I saw you weren't on for a while, but there's spec tires for this race.
No, what? So what is the race? I have been on
It's
and
the
off.
Professor Motor sponsored NSR Classics race at Motown Raceway, February 1st and 2nd. Spec tires, he just got those last week directly from NSR. They're the same as the gray ones that everybody's seen on their website, but they're a darker gray, so it's a specific tire for this race.
Really? So
And we
then
did it in
it's,
darker gray because they look real now. They look from a distance they look black, but when you put them next to a black tire, you can tell.
so then, so that's the GT40
Yeah.
and the 917. Are you going to
Yeah.
allow the Porsche 908?
No, it's only the closed cockpit NSR classics.
That's good.
So it's going to be a field of P68s.
There's some pretty fast GTs. I'm sorry, I forget your name. So Snowjet mentioned maybe we should take the spare tire out of the 917. I'm definitely going to look into that. I think that's probably a good idea.
The other one is
make that more competitive.
I had to put weight in the back of my Mark IV just to get a little bit more tail swing, and it helped. It quieted it down quite a bit compared to the P68s. They were dominating the class, but I ended up with my Mark IV was doing terribly until I put some weight in the back, but that was on the chassis.
I believe the Mark IV has a spare tire in it too. And that car's a little narrower than the rest, so I would take the tire out of that one too.
Well,
Get rid
the
of that higher
917
weight.
has good dimension wise. It's very similar to the 908, but the body is a lot heavier.
Yeah, and the tail out of the end of it so high in the air. Get so much high weight.
So quite honestly, the P68 is the one people are buying right now. But there's others that have been running pretty well. So we have a race this weekend with that class, and probably be the first time anybody's run on the actual spec tire. A lot of people have been running on the gray ones, which are theoretically the same. But now that we've got the actual spec tire, that's what I'm doing this afternoon, is building a couple sets. And it is limited wheels too. So it's on the list, but there's only 4 wheels that are legal. And they're basically the same. You've got the 16x10 standard, 16x10 lightened, and 16x10 lightened and lowered. So pretty much one wheel is, so you're not trying to run this wheel, that wheel. We've tried to keep it easy to set the cars up for everybody, including out of towners.
What front wheels are you allowed to run?
Stock.
What axles? Stock?
Any axles are too hard to tech, but it has to be steel, non-hollow.
Okay.
So we can't tell if that's a NSR axle or anything. So I don't really care, but it can't be hollow and it has to be steel.
Can you glue and true and coat the fronts?
Yes. Pretty standard rules for us for the most part.
Are the rules posted
NSR
yet?
guide is required because it is a race sponsored by Professor Motor and somewhat by NSR, but not officially. And so some of the parts like the guide have to be NSR, but that's all specified in the rules. And Oliver from Professor Motors, we understand he said he's coming out, so hopefully he comes out to the race. So it's gonna be a good race.
Who's coming, Ollie?
Yeah, he said he's coming. So we haven't 100% confirmed that, but he said he plans on coming.
Okay.
So he's been a great help with Mark, and Mark's put, the owner at Motown's put so much work into this race behind the scenes. We've got the new software is finally up and running. So the track's been partially rebraided where it needed it. We've got the sections now numbered 1 to 100, like normal track, like most tracks do. So a lot of work on the track and the whole facility as well.
Cool.
You're welcome
All right,
to
John,
come out.
Put your hand up, John. What you got?
Oh, well, look, it's a holiday season. Let's have a quick go around. What's on your wish list to get under slot related under the tree?
Slot related.
It's got to be slot related.
Up in the
Everybody, don't talk at once. Can I have to have people raise their hands just to put their wish list? I put
I've been a naughty boy. Santa Claus not sending me anything.
That's because you buy it all.
I don't think it's Santa. I don't think it's Santa. I think it's the British Postal Service.
He doesn't do
something
wish
like that.
lists. He does shopping lists. I put the wireless or cordless recharging soldering iron on my Amazon wish list for, not important enough for me to buy, but if somebody gets it, it'll go in my slot box. You never know.
Was that by Fantic?
I don't remember the brand, but it was the one that somebody shared a few weeks ago. So maybe. And some Knipex pliers. I'm not sure if you guys know what Knipex is, but basically the jaws always move parallel, right? They don't go like this, they go like that, and they're adjustable, right? And smooth jaws. So those will be great for a variety of things.
Agreed.
That's me.
MR slot car Corvette.
Yeah.
Good one.
Yes.
Slot
So
at 512. Or no, slot it. What is the new
Datsun 510?
512M.
Datsun 510? Yeah.
Oh, Datsun 510. I'd like
So
this,
is
the Porsche 919, the last round of the LMPs from SRC, but they're hard to find and they're really expensive.
Really expensive.
Yeah.
I've ordered the sideways full 40.
Interesting.
Full GT40.
Oh yeah.
It's on pre-order.
You're muted, John.
You're hoping to get it before Christmas, Tony?
Well, I'm hoping. I don't know. It's on pre-order. Who knows when the pre-orders come? It could be tomorrow. Could be after Christmas. You just don't know. It's pre-order, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, you can.
I missed that one, Tony. What did you say? What was it?
The full
Sideways.
GT40. Sideways.
The sideways GTE, I think he's talking about.
That's a GT40.
Or GT.
The new one. It's on pre-order.
You could get it for Greek Orthodox Christmas. How about that?
John, we're sending all your gifts by mail, so you're not getting nothing.
We're back. They're back working yesterday, son.
Yeah.
Well, you're still not
Yeah,
getting
but
nothing.
it'll be 2 months later.
Yeah.
It's okay. We'll do the Greek Orthodox thing. It'll be fun.
I sent Courtney his Christmas present early about a week ago.
Oh, I still
really?
haven't seen that yet.
You haven't got it yet?
No, I haven't seen that yet.
Well, Courtney, don't look forward to it. I think it's an invoice.
Yeah.
I sent you the tracking number, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. I'm going to check it right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I've had a package.
Probably in Hawaii.
I sent a package. Somebody ordered a tire grinder. I sent it on the 4th, and it still hasn't arrived.
I just love the sound of that product, tire grinder. I think it's cool.
Is it Jeremy around?
Yeah. Or he was. There he is.
Hey, man.
Yeah. Hey, did you get your package?
No, because basically you sent to Auckland, Australia, which does not exist.
Oh, no.
So UPS actually, yeah, cool people. So basically, the package is sitting here in Auckland somewhere, but they don't know where to deliver it because also the address was not complete, so there isn't a number anything. But anyway, so I sorted out.
Is it
So
still
it's
coming
not
your
here
way?
yet. Eh?
Okay. It's still
It's
coming
not
your
yet.
way then?
Yeah,
But it's still coming.
Yeah, I
'Cause
assume that. Yeah.
I didn't. You sent me what your address was, and I thought it was like gibberish. And I screenshot it and said, "This is your address," and you said, "Yeah," and I said, "Okay." I don't know what goes on down there, but I'll assume you'll get it.
Well, I mean, everything is upside down, so.
I'm pretty
That's
sure that what you screenshot was okay, but what they show me basically didn't make sense. There was just the name of the street, but no number, and was Auckland AU, so which is Australia, not New Zealand.
Sorry, bub.
These didn't go to Austria.
No, Austria.
Yeah, the last report I got was on its way to Auckland, New Zealand.
on
its way on its way to Auckland, New Zealand.
Actually, yeah, I don't know where some, I mean, things went amiss, but yeah.
We'll get
It's
you
not the
taken
first
care of.
time.
If it
it's
doesn't
not-
arrive this time, we'll try it again.
Yeah, I think it should be fine. I mean, as long as it's already here. So it's with UPS. It's not the first time that I get a package from them. Usually from Spain, I get. So I think they know how to deal with the New Zealand address. Nice.
I sent something to Denmark one time, and I went to the post office, and the woman said, "Denmark's a country, right?"
Yeah, well, Luff, that's why Canada Post had to go on strike.
Oh God.
Quick question, Greg.
Yeah.
How do you raise your hand with the little yellow thing in the corner on the screen?
Are you on a computer or a tablet?
I'm on a laptop.
Hold your hand up in front of the screen like this.
Yeah, you can do that.
But some people put a yellow hand up there. Yeah, like that.
Yeah. I'm saying if you just hold your hand up, the computer picks that up.
No, it
It's
doesn't.
set up in that way.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, watch. I'll do this hands free. Maybe it's these two hands. Okay, hand.
You're under arrest. Let me look at your hands.
If you click on
It works.
There, Jim, it worked. I'm saying it probably knows I just did it.
Is there like an option or something?
From
No,
the
it's
same
with the
guy who
latest update.
ships
Oh, there
stuff
it did
to
it. It's with the latest update. It does that.
No, I've been doing this
Well,
for a while.
okay, so let's help him out. If it
Yeah.
doesn't happen automatically, there should be a menu bar at the bottom of the screen with,
Right.
Okay, tap on or click on more.
I did that.
No.
Then, no, they moved that. Shoot.
So there is an icon called on the bottom there is a React. Is basically there is
There it is. Yeah. Yeah, they moved that. So there's a heart icon for reaction. So if you click
Under
on that,
what? Where's it at?
down at the bottom bar with the participants and chat and
There's no hard option on mine.
Thank you. Got it.
Are you on a PC or a Mac?
PC,
On the
laptop.
bottom toolbar, there should be a reactions, and it'll be like thumbs up, smiley face, all this stuff. At the bottom of that reactions list, it says raise hand.
Mine says participants, share screen summary, AI companion under reactions.
Okay, so if you don't have a
There it
reactions
is.
one,
So then you put your hand on raise hand. I see it. Okay. I found it.
Right, click
Try
on it. Click on it.
prove that it works.
Okay.
The good news is that you found it unlike Auckland, New Zealand.
There you go.
Yeah.
And you should
Auckland,
be able to basically do
Australia, you mean?
So now the option should basically say lower hand. So you should be able to do the same thing to lower the hand.
Yep, I see that. Thank you.
But you've got the
I was just
gesture
curious.
control too. If you go up here and then you go down, then it goes away.
Okay.
Seriously.
Simon didn't say.
All right, Mike, what you want to talk about?
Hold on.
Well,
I missed
I
that.
did
Okay,
some
go ahead,
listening.
Courtney. Courtney really wants
No,
to talk.
Jet.
Go ahead, Courtney.
Oh,
No, Jet,
okay.
where is your track? Where are you located?
In Sully, Iowa. We're
Okay.
about 45 miles east of Des Moines.
Okay. And are you a wood tire track?
Yeah.
I mean, a rubber tire, or what do you run on that thing?
Well, when we have our races, we just have rubber only. We do have one class we allow urethane, but no silicone.
Okay. That's
I'm a firm believer. Real cars race on rubber tires, so we should be racing our slot cars on rubber tires.
Real
I
cars
like
also
everything about
weigh.
that.
Each car needs to weigh 300 pounds. Then.
Because that's a scaled down.
Yeah, I know.
poundage. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm moving to Iowa.
No, thanks. I don't like winters in those states. Forget that.
Okay.
Okay. Now let's
Sorry.
let Mike talk.
Sorry, Mike.
Oh, it's okay. Don't worry about it.
If you want, I have a picture of his track. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Mike.
That's okay. We only had Joel and myself racing on Monday. Shiggy and Ratby were out. And I discovered something interesting. The one I fooling around looking for this problem that I've had with SSD for a long time. And I figured, well, today would be a good day because there's only two of us. You know, there probably won't be any problems with that. But I had on Saturday, I had had the Porsche Club meet, and everybody canceled as far as I knew, except one guy who didn't get the memo and showed up anyway. So I ended up racing with him for a couple hours. And even with two people, I had the cutout problem and that kind of thing. So I figured I would switch the power bases again and see. And when I did that, I noticed that the power base that I had not been updated, which I missed last time I switched them. So I updated it. And interestingly enough, and I've also uninstalled and installed RCS 64 again. So when we had no problems with cars losing control or anything during the race, which I kind of expected with only two of us. But the finishing format looked completely different on the screen from what I usually get. And I went, okay. So maybe what I did is I re-downloaded the other base too, and we'll see if that makes any difference and puts it all in the same. You know, it could be that I was in between bases and there's some glitch or something that was on it. So anyway, we'll see next week. I'm going to try SSD again. We also tried an oxygen race, and I put oxygen chips in stock cars. And what happened is the short lap became a missed lap, which is interesting because apparently what's happening is that there's an optimum window for the hall sensor to work. And I've got the chassis right here, but if you notice there's I don't know if you can see it very well. Yeah, you can see there's a slope to the chassis. So it moves up when you can move it, and you can move the hall sensor up or down, which changes the relationship to the magnet. So if I move that to certain places on different cars, it will change the way it works. And if you get it too high, it misses laps. And if you get it too low, it will increase the laps, do short laps. So I'm looking, I actually would like to figure out what is the optimum window for the hall sensor to figure out what the problem is. You want it high enough that it doesn't react what I think is over the lane changers, and yet not so high that you miss laps. So I'm working out that. But anyway, we had 3 good races, 2 of them in SSD. We had a good time. Joel is still working out the pit stop stuff and getting confused with the buttons and that, so it takes a while. I tried to give him a little bit of leeway, but I still waxed him pretty good. But that's to be expected. He's still working out the kinks on it to figure it out. It's a completely new world for him, so if he got some practice, that's great. So, but we had fun anyway, regardless, and a good time. So I'm still working on this problem. We'll see. Hopefully I'll find out next week that was it and we have no trouble. But I'm not holding my breath.
I mean, Geo runs a bunch of different kinds of cars. Have you ever figured out a perfect height up from the track?
No. I mean, usually I just install it and go for it. I mean, and the class where I don't have, most of the plastic chassis, basically, I don't have any problem. It's only when most of the problems basically have emerged when we raised the Revo Slot with the metallic chassis. So yeah, I mean, the kind of class that we raise, just also to be clear, so GT3 is our main class, and we never have a problem there. then Group C, Group 5, the classic, NSR and Thunder Slot, for instance, no problem. The ones where I started a bit of problem were like the Mustang for a couple of them, but then once I put a bit of like Inox and stuff, then the problem disappeared. And these are a bit taller than the others actually. So I don't have the right height for it, but these should give you a good indication around the kind of.
So do you have a minimum ride height for your cars?
No, so I just to make sure that they don't scrap. I mean, front and back, right? I mean, because you don't want to kind of scrap all around the track.
Yeah.
But I don't have. I mean, I set up the front axle ride to be just a ride. Basically, I want my cars to be able to ride on the guide and have like 1-2 millimeters from the front splitter, let's say, or even less. Actually, sorry, less than that, much less than that. So there should be some light going through the front splitter. Of course, the rear, the motor should not pull the chassis down. Well, I don't do anything crazy, but it's kind of a normal setup that I would use for boot. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, it is the stock cars are a little different since they have that sloping chassis.
Which
that allows them to.
Which cars are you talking about? Because I didn't get
the Carreras stock cars.
Oh.
And this is the chassis that it's in, the stock chassis. You can see how it rises up towards the front of the front wheels.
So one suggestion, Mike, I don't know if you want to do it, is make a hole through the chassis and let basically the whole sensor just kind of look. And I think maybe also, I don't know, the thickness of the plastic. I don't know.
Well, interestingly enough, last week, I don't know if you heard or saw anything about it, but I ran the Polycar Formula Ones, which have a dedicated position for the Hall sensor.
Yeah,
and it was absolutely awful. We had short laps all over the place. We sometimes had missed laps. It was just nuts. And every single car was different. So that's why I was asking if there's an optimum height. I know the Disca guys run, they run, I think, 1.8 millimeters as a ride height for the cars.
Well, I mean, that's a distance for GT3 between that you should have at the start of the race from the center of the motor. I think that the splitter is maybe 0.5 minimum or something like that.
Okay. So anyway, I've been playing around with it. I run the stock cars again next week.
Which chip did you use for the Formula One?
Pardon me?
Which chip did you use? C1 for
the C chip.
Yeah.
Because you can't fit a B chip in the Formula One.
It'll be interesting to see if you are using the new Hall sensor stripe. I mean, let's call it the tape where the old sensor is. I think they have an updated version. I wonder if you have the new one or not. Which I don't know how to.
Well, all the chips I got 4 C chips specifically for the Formula One car, and they were all new. So, but when the stock was there, how do you know if you're getting the newer Hall sensor?
It's physically different. The only way to know for sure is to look at the Hall sensor strip itself. They put another component onto the strip. Basically, there's like a tiny little diode or capacitor or something on there. I think we'll say that. I think they shared a picture of it when they talked about it on Slot Forum. But I don't know. Wayne's gone, so I can't ask him.
Yeah, I
was wondering why it was so quiet.
Yeah, crazy, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Are you done lamenting, Mike?
Yes, I am.
Okay, go ahead.
Not
Jim.
complaining, but
Yeah, exactly.
it's a work in progress.
I'm trying to.
I forgot I had this picture, but talking about the spec tire that we're doing. So there's the on the left is the NSR light gray that they have available. On the right, don't disregard the sizes, but on the right is a standard NSR Super Grip, and in the middle is our new spec tire from Motown. So it's very obvious it's a gray, but it's so close to black it looks great on the car.
Yeah, it looks nice.
Is it 10 millimeter wide?
Yes.
Okay, so last couple of weeks we didn't have any racing because of some people were sick, so we didn't have enough racer for any of marshals and people around. So I canceled. So yesterday we managed to get 5 guys on the track, and so decided to race. This might not be the last race of the year. I hope that we can get something else next week, but yeah, we don't know, depending how things goes. So, well, the usual suspect turned it up. So this was Mike, James, Jan, myself, and Alex. So practice again. I mean, a kind of normal. We just try to warm up the motors and the tires, and also there was. Although I ride on the track, there was a lot of dust and not much grip. It's warm down here at the moment, so grip should be up there. But yeah, with dust really does not go well with the tires. So we line up for qualify, and what you see here, I mean, like Jan with the orange car, that 06 is not a real lap. I mean, come out at the end of the main straight. So the order was Alex with the 490, that's legit. Then myself 59, then Jan, James, and Combi Mike with the M6. So lined up for the race. So I don't know. I mean, I did just one light on the garage. So we raced. We had the free race in twilight condition, and then the last race was in complete darkness. I kind of changed a bit the format and the results. So pretty close between me and Alex. So it's always like one lap, and as you're gonna see. And as I mentioned before, is car, the first 50% of the fuel basically the car, it's just like it's pretty kind of slow, and then the second part when start getting closer to full power is a car basically it's like a manual car, and you can pull on the trigger almost full throttle all the time. So which means that he's also using a bit more fuel. So basically the strategy between me and him is who gets first into the pit and without having many damage points. Also people coming off while in the pit, because if that happens, then we don't pause the pit functions. So which means that he will, I mean, whoever is in the pit while there is a truck call gets an advantage compared to the other. So you have to kind of balance. I mean, I stay out and try to make them all up, so come in together with him. And if some truck calls happens, then we both get the same kind of advantage or no advantage at all. So it's basically the win or lose is happening into the pit. So, and then the other guys, I mean, Jan, bit of a nightmare of a race. I don't know, 12 damage points. I mean, sometimes he has these kind of off the races where his car is undrivable, and I don't know what's going on there. James is getting pretty, tough in racing. I mean, or kind of quick, but he doesn't keep the car on the track, and so then messed it up and kind of have more damage points than Kobe. But I think it would be not too much off from a third position solve it. But yeah, so it needs to improve a bit on consistency. And so this lineup for the second race, and again here, as you can see, close between me and Alex. His car is still quick. I mean, even during racing, he can do 5.9. I mean, this is a 5.50. Kind of not his best lap, but yeah, that's what he managed. And again, the rest, I think it's similar to the others. Racing, then this lineup for the third race, and the results this time Alex got it, and we did 127 laps, which is pretty good. And as you can see, also not many damage points for the rest of the people. And here you can see the 490. So that car, I mean, so that is using a McLaren, NSR McLaren, the body, and the chassis is SRP chassis, and performs pretty well. That chassis is a 3D printed one. It works well. And then last race. So this one was everything happened in the last last pit stop, which is like a couple of minutes before end of the race. So Alex tried to overtake me, so stay on the exit, on the outside the lane and try to overtake, but doesn't manage. So I try to keep him there, so try to pass him or avoiding to get stuck behind the car. So he's using more fuel as well, so he needs to go in the pit earlier than me. And the last couple of minutes was decided who was basically staying in front or behind. Yeah, you cannot get any closer racing than that, I would say. So lots of fun. That Ferrari, the sideways Ferrari, I think the 488 it's a nice car. I'm really kind of enjoying racing it, and also looking at it racing. It looks really good. And I'm building two more. Maybe let's see if I can share just a quick one. I'm not gonna waste too much time on this. It's still work in progress. So I'll build two more. These are more kind of recent ones that have been one of the. As you know, the 488 is now retired as a GT3 car because they are racing at the 296. So these liveries are some of the last one that they used, I think, in 2022. The gold one is, I think it was on the Nürburgring 24 hours, and the yellow one, I think, is Le Mans entry. Can I move this stuff forward? Not again, not. Just a second. Again, I think I have some pictures with more details on it. Nah. Yeah. Okay. So that's all. I think one more thing that maybe we can use more on the track. This is if you want to share with us.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I'm the official distributors of this. So if you need a supply, let me know.
What's the actual candy inside?
I have not tried. Just
look like it might.
You can also get flowers. They're called buttercups, right? Suck it up, buttercup.
Suck it up, buttercups. Or peanut butter cups.
There you go.
Yeah. By the way, yesterday, we didn't have any problem with the short a lot. Yeah, when we raise a GT3 or whatever, Yeah, it works pretty well. I don't know. I don't have didn't have any kind of issues with the systems. I mean, with the system, but I don't know.
With my GT3s don't either.
Mm. So, but yeah, so basically, there's a consistency with that. So,
yeah.
Weird.
22nd of November.
Can I show Craig's track? Do you guys got a second?
Yeah,
sure.
Okay. Let me see if I can optimize this.
Is his name Greg?
Craig.
Craig, okay. Craig's are jerks.
Is this showing now? I can't tell.
Yep.
Yes.
This is his track. This building is next to where he used to have a motorcycle dealership. I mean, Craig, you can talk about it if you want, but this was a building on the side next to it, and I think the front he rents out, the back is his space. So he has a really nice facility here. Over on the far right is where he has parts and cars and stuff. Let's see if this plays.
1 minute left.
Oop, that was it. That's all I
If
have for
you
video. Yeah.
if you look in the background through the doorway, there's another track in there, an oval.
It's an oval
Where the-
track. I don't count that as a track though. But yeah, he has an oval
I know
back
it.
there.
I know you don't. The
It's
track
a
that
left
we
turn.
race on, the track that we race on though has a very smooth surface. I sprayed it with primer, then I sprayed it with enamel, and then did the lane colors, and then the last is a sealer of triple coat polyurethane spray. No paintbrush touched the track. All sprayed, so it's very smooth.
So I'll give my critique of racing on the track. Not that you want it. Everything's fine. I don't like the start on this curve here. That always makes it awkward. I wish that it would have been over in the middle of this little straight here, or even better in the very middle here, just because when you're racing at the end, I've done it a dozen times where I'm pushing it towards the end and I wipe out right here. And oh, come on. So
Yeah.
that's the only flaw that I hate on the track. Other than that, I mean, everything works great. Oh, and he has not sealed down this grass. So if your car wipes out in the grass, you will be dusty with green grass. So
That's good. That's what happens to real cars when they go off.
Yeah.
Real cars don't go off on the plastic grass.
There's,
whatever it's made out of.
there's no such thing as there's no such thing as sealing that stuff down that it doesn't come off when something rubs on it.
Yeah,
You could make it shiny with glue and still get little bits coming off of there.
No, I'm going to give you a pro tip here, and nobody's going to like to hear this. You mix a 50-50 Elmer's glue and water until you get it nice and shaken, and then you sponge coat it until it soaks in, and when it dries, it becomes a hardened seal where that powder stuff goes away. But it takes forever. I know it does. It does.
Yeah,
I've
we
done it,
did
but
some of that.
Did it work for you?
Yeah, but after a while, it still comes loose over time.
Well, you didn't do it right.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, maybe not.
You didn't do it right.
Maybe not. Start finish line, I will agree with Jeremy, is not the best. But when I built the track, I had no
if you put it
idea
on that back right corner, it would have been perfect. But you got to go with what you got. I mean, who knows?
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
still a
we
great
built it.
track.
I didn't realize that at the time. So
And your oval was portable. I think you used to take that to events or something.
yeah, I take it at the car shows and set it up.
Yeah.
So, but
All right.
so you have another truck behind you, right?
Yeah, right where I'm at.
Back there.
Yeah.
Yeah, this track here behind me is my personal track that I built.
Okay. And the other one.
I built 8 tracks.
Okay, nice. So the one that Jeremy was showing is also your truck?
Yeah, the one that Jeremy was showing, those are my 2 tracks that we race on. And then I have a dealership for Professor Motor and Electric Dream, so we sell cars and parts there. So
Home in the basement, he has his own track for 3 lanes. But then when you go to where his business is, in the back room of his business, this is the track there, and then back over on this right-hand corner is an oval. So he's got 3 total tracks that he owns, 2 for public, 1 for private.
Hey, Jeremy? Jeremy?
Yeah.
Could you put that back up for a second?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
On the right-hand side, is that squeezed or is that just a distortion from the camera?
well, it's a squeeze.
Okay, just wondered.
They will get through it GT3 cars won't, but if you're running your vintage cars or your classic sports racers, if you hold your line good and not slide, you can get through. But the GT3s
It's
have
one
a
of
tough
those
time
squeezes
because they're
that I
wider.
hate. So it's a half-assed non-squeeze that nobody slows down for.
Yeah, you usually
Right.
don't slow down.
So what is the lane spacing?
The lane spacing between the lanes is 3.5, and then the corners are elliptical. So when I built the track, at the center of the corner, like in the bank this turn here where Jeremy's got the cursor, the red car is, those are about almost 4-inch spacing there. Because when you elliptical it, you can get a larger spacing in the curves. In the straights are 3.5.
Nice. Did you route them with a router or it's a CNC?
It's all routed with a router.
Okay.
And then the other thing I did with the router is I did not use 1/4-inch braid. I used 3/16. And I narrowed the groove up just a fraction so that puts the braids closer together for your brushes on 132 cars.
So basically the braids are really closer to the slot.
They're closer to the slot than normally would be. That way, normal 132 guides are narrower than your 124 guides. The idea is trying to get the braid a little closer together. So.
And I didn't know about his track in his basement, so I'm going to count that now. Per capita, we still beat everybody. Iowa wins.
So the reason I asked that about the squeeze is that's not a squeeze. That's a squeeze.
No, it ain't like that.
Yeah, that's a squeeze right there.
Yeah, that's a squeeze.
That's one of our tracks.
We have a track with a squeeze like that that he routed, but everybody complained about it. I was the only one who was like, "This is the greatest thing ever," because I would beat people to that corner and I not have to worry about it.
Well, that squeeze is fine, but you've got to be, like he was saying, you've got to think real racing. Sometimes you get screwed by it, and sometimes you're the screwy, and sometimes you're the screwer.
I know.
But you've just got to follow people through there. You can't go through there faster than the car in front of you.
And you have to know who you're racing with to go,
yes,
he's a maniac. He's not going to stop. I know this. But these guys would just hold the trigger down and try to get through there. And it just baffled me that they complained about it every time.
And I'm glad we don't have tracks. All the tracks have that, but it's kind of cool to have that at one track.
Yeah, once in a while. It's great for variety.
The track that Jeremy's talking about, it has a true squeeze, but car drivers 1 and 2 squeeze together in one turn, and in the next turn, cars 3 and 4 squeeze together.
This one does that too on the straightaway before the 2 outside lanes come in, and then they all come together.
Yeah. So.
I wish we still raced there.
You got squeezed out?
No, he just hasn't. He's lost interest for a little bit.
That's too bad. Sounds like we're winding down. I'll go ahead and stop the live, but we'll keep chatting as usual. And again, a reminder for everybody, the next 2 weeks, because they're on Christmas Day and New Year's Day, we're not going to do a YouTube broadcast, but we will have the chat open for the Zoom will be available for anybody to hop on and chat about whatever you want to chat about. So until 3 weeks from now, everybody wave bye. Wave bye. Bye.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Holidays.
All right.
It's going to be early and late.